Hi everyone, I'm Jason Oldman Seth Segaman, and I am here with I have no idea what the hell I'm going to end up calling this. This is just going to be a weekly show where we talk about games industry news, game news. I am going to let you know what's happening. I'm going to give you my opinion about it. I hope you all enjoy the very first episode of whatever the hell I'm going to call this thing, and I appreciate you checking it out. So let's go ahead and get cracking with The Last of Us PC port release. This one was very hotly anticipated for a very long time by a very large cross-section of the gaming population, rightfully so. The Last of Us was a huge success on the PlayStation, and a lot of people were waiting to sink their teeth into it, particularly those who weren't able to either get a hold of a PlayStation or didn't want to spend the money on another damn console. Let's be 100% honest with one another. Consoles are definitely one of those things that you spend a lot of money on and they're obsolete so damn fast that is it really worth it in the end? Hell, I don't know. I don't really feel like they are more often than not. I'm a PC Master Race guy. What the hell do I know, though? What? I'm a streamer, and I might have consoles for exclusives, but that's about the only goddamn thing I use them for. Whatever the case may be, this one is getting smoked on Steam reviews right now. Absolutely, positively just smoked. People are complaining about a long load-up time. People are complaining about the shaders taking a long time to compile on their first boot up. Really awful optimization, games crashing, all kinds of awful stuff. Now, what could have possibly done this? I've read speculation, and I tend to agree, and this is my opinion, that Sony decided to rush this one out due to the popularity of the show. The Last of Us has been a huge hit on HBO. So many people loving it. Even people who aren't fans of the games really love the show. So why not, right? Strike while the iron is hot. Let's go ahead and pump this one out. Let's make sure that we get it out there so that everyone can dive right onto it while everyone knows the name, right? This was a horrible move in my estimation. I think they should have taken a little bit more time. The people who are watching the show weren't necessarily gamers, and the fact that they're doing gamers a disservice, the people that actually put them in the situation where they could even have a show, definitely could have done a little bit of harm to the franchise. The thing about gamers, and I think that a lot of you agree, is that we all have long memories. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You try to do it a third time, you're probably going to get the double bird. Next up, we have the Dolphin Emulator, which is a emulator coming out on Steam right now that is evidently going to be able to emulate GameCube and N64 games. Now, there's a very big discussion that I think that we can all have here, and I think that discussion is going to probably dive into the morality or the legality of emulation. This is a very hot button topic for a lot of the gaming populace. You have very hardliners who are saying, no, you should never emulate. It's wrong. It's this. You should only emulate if you have the game physically, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, there are the other folks who are like, I don't have the money or any of the other resources to actually be able to buy what these games are probably going to end up costing on the open market. The retro gaming scene is rife with collectors, and that's literally all they do is they buy these things up because of the value and things like that. So when we're talking about games, and again, this is just my opinion, people are out there to try to have fun. People want access to these titles that they may not have had when they were kids. They may want to actually, just be able to try this game that they heard of, and they heard so many good things. And when it comes down to it, I am of the opinion that emulation is fine. These things are digital mediums that are supposed to be consumed, right? When we sit down to play a game, we want to enjoy ourselves. We want to escape. We want to just have a little bit of joy in our lives from time to time. And as much as I hate to see people sniping each other about whether or not this is morally correct or whether this is legally correct, I wish that everyone would just kind of let themselves, let other people enjoy the moment. Let other people enjoy these things that you may have actually had the pleasure of doing. Just because you're out there buying all these damn things because of the value and you want to turn around and resell them for higher up later on down the line doesn't make it right, for God's sakes. I want everyone to be able to experience some of these games that all of us probably enjoyed at one point in time in our life. And if people are going to be able to get that experience from an emulator that is being offered on Steam, so be it. As a streamer, would I stream emulated games that I don't have physical copies of? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably. It's all about the joy, and it's all about sharing that joy with other people. So why in the hell is everyone getting so bent out of shape? You know how it is out there, everyone. People got sticks way up their asses when it comes to a lot of things, and this is just going to be another one of them. Our next topic is going to be the Diablo IV open beta. Now, as someone who shied away from ARPGs for a very long time, the Diablo IV beta, pretty damn good. I started playing those games back when it was Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. I remember I was in high school when Diablo 1 came out. I remember when Diablo 2 came out, and I got sucked right in. I finished that game and never looked back, even when Diablo 3 came out, and I was like, whatever. At one point in time, over the last, 10 years, I tried to dip my foot back into it with Path of Exile. And let me tell you, I was ruined for ARPGs for a long time, up until now, Diablo IV. The PhD required to actually digest and play that game was something that I could just not get over. While it was very neat looking, and I'm sure it has a lot to offer, and I know it's very well done, I just didn't have the time or patience. Diablo IV, is it going to end up being good? Personally, I think so. I think it's going to appeal to a lot of the casual gamers out there. I think that the game was very well done. I think that the game is very samey in some spots, and I know that the Diablo community is echoing that. It's a very safe play when it comes to like what the game is offering. But I was able to sit down my first day of not playing an ARPG in probably 10 years since I tried Path of Exile, and I was actually able to digest it fairly quickly. The game actually looked decent. The skills ended up making a lot of sense. The items weren't too overly done. You didn't have to worry about too many different things working together. And I feel that this one, everyone's opinion about Blizzard aside, I personally have my opinions about them as well. They've done some scummy shit, but they put out a good game. And I do think that this one is actually going to end up doing well as time goes on. They still have a long way to go, and I still feel like there's definitely some things that people are going to, feel pretty strongly about as time goes on. But I do genuinely think that Diablo IV, in its open beta this last weekend, really knocked it out of the park. And from everything that I gathered from a lot of other folks, even the Diablo hardcores, they felt like it was still going to be pretty solid. Like I said, even if a little bit samey or a little bit safe, it's going to be good. I think this one's going to be a huge success. I think that Diablo 4 is going to crush it in a lot of different ways, even with the Battle Pass, even with the cosmetic store. It is what it is. This is the nature of games these days. What are we going to do? The only thing we can do is sit down and play them and hope that we have a smile on our face when we're done with them. So Diablo 4, is it going to be good? I truly think so. Our next topic is E3. What the hell is going on with trade shows and gaming conventions, everyone? This last week, Ubisoft, the only major publisher who was going to actually end up being at E3, and it's only 2.5 months away or so, decided to go ahead and pull out. It seems that they just didn't want to have a presence there anymore because of any X, Y, or Z logistical reason. And as it stands, there is no major publisher right now at E3, which kind of begs the question, what's going on with these large trade shows and conventions? Are we seeing the slowdown from the post-COVID era? Are we seeing people not want to invest any more resources in what are physical presentations of things because they save money? I'm going to go ahead and throw my opinion out and say, absolutely. I think that we are going to see the death knell of a lot of these major conventions here over time. Reason being is that during COVID, people started to learn how to penny pinch. They started to learn that they could maybe still get things out there without actually having to spend all this money. Obviously, that CEO needs another vacation home. They might want their 5th yacht. So if they can do that, and if they can save a penny somewhere else and still know that they're going to make their money, why wouldn't they, right? It's really unfortunate to see, though, and I do wonder if it's going to be a disservice to all of us as gamers. Like, are we going to suffer from it? I would like to think no, but I think ultimately over time, as we continue to see less and less of these large events actually have big people at them, that the industry as a whole could end up taking a pretty big hit. So, back with a little bit of an addendum to are the trade shows and events on their deathbed. Not 24 hours after I recorded this video, E3 came out and said that the entire thing is going to be canceled this year. So that kind of gives a little bit more credence to, are these things going the way of the dinosaurs? Kind of looks like it might be. If things like Ubisoft aren't even able to continue to move in this kind of environment, then who the hell is? Give me your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Put them down below, and let's have a little discussion about what the future of things like E3 or any other con is. We're going to end our show today with basically the other slice of bread for what's going to be a Sony sandwich. I was reading about it this last week and had a good chuckle that Sony is being attacked for its high-end gaming monopoly in Japan by a United States senator from Washington State whose primary donors are employees from Microsoft. Now, my take, being a ridiculous situation from a international relations standpoint and trade and diplomatic perspective, I think that we should all probably call this what it is. Microsoft has decided to use its lobbying power here in the States to maybe try to get more of an in Japan. if we really want to talk like brass tacks here, everybody, I think that we can all agree that Microsoft and the Xbox has historically performed very, very poorly in Japan. For all of its, attempts at being a serious allegation about, well, this isn't fair for our homegrown company to be facing such a challenge over there, and we should really consider this from a, international relations perspective. This is all bullshit. This is all a steaming pile of bullshit. We all know that Microsoft wants to succeed in Japan, and if there's any leverage that they can get from the American government to do so, they're absolutely going to exhaust every option to do that. If you want to, give it a look. It's absolutely ridiculous. Have a good laugh for the day, if nothing else. If you know the Japan market at all, and know that it's not just Sony, it's Nintendo, it's mobile games, it's a lot of other things that take up a lot of the resources there. Xbox is definitely, making a castle of sand on this one, and I think that they're going to see a lot of their lobbying money go right down the drain. And that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for checking it out. If you have anything to say about any of the topics, make sure that you comment below. Ask me some questions about them. We can have a discussion about it. Give me some other things you might want to hear my opinion on. I would be more than happy to use some of your guys' suggestions in a future show. Thank you guys all again for sticking around. Make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And I appreciate you guys checking it out.